So now that you know how to identify a greatest common factor in algebra, we can factor them out of a polynomial. So in unit 4, remember you would have had something like this, and you would have distributed out the 5 in order to get 5x plus 15. So with greatest common factoring, we want to go backwards. So we're going to start with 5x plus 15, and we want to end up with something like this 5 times x plus 3, where we have this greatest common factor of the 5 out front, and then kind of leftovers, whatever else you need to multiply by to get back to your original expression. And you might be asking, why would we ever want to do that? We're complicating things further instead of simplifying them. And the reason is because this will be really helpful later on when you are going to solve equations. So in further classes. So to factor out the GCF, step 1 is going to be to identify it just like we did last unit. Step 2, you're going to divide each of your terms by that GCF. And then step 3, you're going to put the GCF out in front of your quotients that you found in step 2. So for example, we've been asked to factor this 8m squared plus m. So step 1, we want to identify our GCF, which here is m to the power of 1, or just simply m. And so step 2, we're going to divide each of those terms by m, which gives us this 8m plus 1. And so then we're going to put the GCF out front. So we put this m out front of our 8m plus 1. If you wanted to double check your work, if we distributed out that m, we would end back up at 8m squared plus m, which is what you started with here. So all we're doing is changing the form of these. And we're doing that, like I said, so that later we can solve equations easier. All right, let's do a couple of these together, and then I'll get you to try some on your own. So this first one here, step 1, we're going to identify our GCF, and the GCF in this case would be 2. So step 2, we're going to divide each of our terms by that 2. That would give us x plus y. And then step 3 is to put that 2 out in front. So we end up with 2 times x plus y. And again, if you distributed out that 2, you'll see you end up right back where you started. Okay, number 2. So first of all, figure out your GCF here. And you should find that your GCF is 7. So step 2, we're going to divide each of our terms by that GCF. Okay, that would leave us with m plus 2. And then step 3, we're putting the 7 out in front. Okay, and don't forget to check your work. If you distribute that 7 out, you'll end up back where you started. All right, why don't you try some of these, pause the video, and then come on back and check your answers with me. Okay, let's do some of these together. So for number 3, our GCF here is 5. So we're going to divide each of these terms by 5. We'll stick the 5 out front, and the answers when we do our division, we get x plus 1. Okay, number 4, our GCF here is 5. So we divide each of these terms by 5. That gives us the 2 minus c squared, and then we stick our 5 out front. In number 5, our GCF here is 3x. So we're going to divide each of these by that 3x. That leaves us with 2x plus 3y, and then we have a 3x out front. And again, if you wanted to check that, maybe I'll check this one. We would get 6x squared plus 9xy. Okay, and moving on to the next one, our GCF for number 6 would be 4y. So we're dividing each of these terms by 4y. When we do that division, we get 2y plus 3, and then we stick our 4y out front. All right, number 7, our GCF is just a 2 here. We have no variables in common to all three terms, so just a 2. So we divide each of these by 2, and that gives us 2r minus 4s plus 3t, and then we stick that 2 out front. Okay, number 8, our GCF here would be 5. So we divide each of those terms by 5, and that gives us 7x plus 4y plus 1, and stick that 5 out front. Next one, our GCF here is a. So we're going to divide each of these by an a, and then we get 5b minus 6c, and stick that a out front. Okay, next one, number 10. We've got a GCF here of 4mn. So we're going to divide each of these by 4mn. And when we do those divisions, we get 3m plus 1n, or just n. And we stick out our 4mn out front. Okay, number 11. So our GCF here is going to be 2b, or not to be. Haha. Okay, so we're dividing each of these by 2b, and that gives us 3b minus 1 plus 5b squared, and then we have a 2b out front. Now, that is a perfectly acceptable answer in this course. However, I like to rearrange it so that my highest exponent is first. So I would rearrange this to 5b squared plus 3b minus 1. It's just a convention in math, but either of these answers is totally fine. Okay, last one is a tricky one. Your GCF here is t plus 5. You have something multiplied by that binomial, so two terms, t plus 5, but that's just one thing. So you have t multiplied by something and 6 multiplied by something. If this was t times u plus 6 times u, you would say, well, the GCF is u. That's the same thing here, except instead of a u, we have a t plus 5. So it's just one thing that's getting multiplied. So that means, I'm just going to rewrite it here first. That means that we can take that t plus 5 out as our GCF. So we're going to divide each of these terms by t plus 5. Okay, when we do that, our t plus 5s are going to cancel. We stick our t plus 5, well, okay, so then we get the resulting product here would be, or resulting dividend here, dividends would be t plus 6. And then we're sticking our GCF out front, which is t plus 5. And that's it for polynomials.